morning, everyone. Wholesale Sharks live from the Dispo Sharks studio. My name is Chris. I'm one of the relationship managers here for the Dispo Sharks. What does that mean? That means if you have a new deal that you're looking to get sold, I am your first point of contact. Also, if you need to know the right price to lock up a deal at, you can go ahead and send me a text message, give me a call, and we can make it happen for you. Joining me today is my lovely co-hosts, Annette and Jackie. Ladies, go ahead, please.
What's up, guys? My name is Annette Sanches. I'm a relationship manager here at Dispo Sharks. Thanks, Chris.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jackie. I'm a co-host here and also a relationships manager.
So, guys, today we have the pleasure of joining us today, Art, the wonderful Art. Go ahead and then let the people know what's up.
I appreciate you. All right, my name is Art, better known as CEO Arts. All right, broke 2 years ago. Now own a 7-figure business, guys.
So, Art, first of all, before we start, I want to go ahead and thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to join us today. I know that you know time is money, obviously.
Absolutely.
And the fact that you're here with us, we definitely appreciate that. We just have a few questions for you, Art.
Absolutely.
Ladies, what do you say we go ahead and get started?
Yeah.
So, first thing you mentioned, you said I was broke. So, what did you used to do before real estate?
See, that's a great question, right? So, I used to work for this vending machine company, right? I was there for about 8 years, and I used to have my side hustle. I always been a hustler, no matter what situation I was in. I was always a hustler, and I quit my job, and then for a whole year I was out, selling cars, flipping cars, right? I was doing it all. Whatever made money, I did.
Yeah.
Right, and I stumbled upon wholesale and real estate.
Well, you say stumble upon. I mean, did you YouTube it? Someone just mentioned it? Like,
How did you get there?
yeah.
Yeah,
Meet someone
I love
that told you about it. What's it?
Yeah, I love that question. So, I remember when I was sitting on my couch, right? Because at that time I was lost. I was dead broke. I didn't know what I want to do with life,
Yeah.
right? And I was in my phone. I was scrolling, right? I was like, all right, it was a normal day. And then I stumbled upon my brother Carlos Reyes.
Shout out, Carlos.
Yep, shout out to my brother. I stumbled upon his page and I started looking at his page. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Like, this is a Mexican dude. I'm seeing his stories. Like, he's doing real estate. He started off with nothing, and and I was like, all right. Like, I always wanted to get into real estate. I just did not know how, right? So I did my research, right? I did my research, and I was like, you're telling me that I could pick up a contract, get a house put it under contract, right, and assign it, and make an assignment fee. What?
You're like, what?
How can I do that?
Right. It sounded too good to be true,
Okay.
And the thing was, like, I told my wife, she was like, she, again, shout out to my wife, but again, she was like, you know what, like, I don't think that's the right move. Like, at the time too, we had barely found out that she was pregnant with her third child. So, like, the pressure was on. She's like, is that the right move you want to do, especially right now?
Yeah.
And
we need money.
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was. She was like, she wanted security. Like, she wanted to feel like, you know what, like, we're stable. At the time, she did tell me, she was like, if you don't get a job, by such and such, you need to get a job.
She was keeping it real.
I mean, that's what a wife
Well,
is all
I
about.
guess it just seemed like not the right time to take the risk.
Yeah, that's all it was. But one thing is, with life in general, my faith has always been strong, right? And that's very important, especially with this success. It's like, I wouldn't have been at this position if it wasn't for my faith.
Oh,
Because I took some big, I'm telling you, I took some big risks. Absolutely.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yep.
So, curious, Art, what is your morning routine? What like a day look like for you?
Yeah, so, everybody says, like, hey, every successful person has a morning routine. What is yours, right? I'll tell you. So I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, right? I go in and get ready. I go and work out. I'm a personal trainer. And from 7 o'clock, I'm back and, get ready, right? And then kiss my kids goodbye, and I'm out, right? And that's basically it. I used to I'm trying to get back to the routine where I used to get up, I used to pray, and which I still do. I forgot about that. I still pray, and I meditate. I used to meditate, right? And that was very important right there. But with all this load in my back, it's like I'm on the go.
Sometimes we fall off.
Yes.
Like, it happens, but you can always pick it right back
We're
up.
human beings.
Yeah.
And that's one thing is like, a lot of people think that us successful people are perfect. That's not the case every single time, right? Sometimes we kind of step back and then reality hits. We need to jump back on,
Yeah.
right?
It's okay not to be okay sometimes.
Yeah, and I learned this from my life coach. Like, shout out to Tanya. I love that girl, but she's always on my ass about like my morning routine and then my night routine, because that's very important. Your night routine is very important because that's how your next day is going to turn out.
Yeah.
Right. So plan, journal. Right. What's 5 things you learned about today? Right. What kind of thing you could have reframed? Right. Stuff like that, and then meditate, and then read a book, and then crash out.
For sure.
Morning, do the same thing, right? Be grateful. See, that's one thing is like on my car, on my ride to the office, I'm always grateful. So I'm always like shouting out like, how grateful I am, right? And just thanking God like how far I've came. Because I remember, 2 years ago, I didn't have nothing. I didn't know where I wanted to go. And now it's like I look back and I'm like, look how far I came.
That's crazy because 2 years really isn't a long time. Like it really isn't, Like you really change a lot in a short period of time like that.
Speaking of change, that actually brings up the next question. Obviously, you're running a very successful business.
Mm-hmm.
We all feel really proud of you, and we obviously do.
I appreciate it, brother.
If you could have gone back and changed something about your business, what would it be?
See, that's a good question, but I've came this far by so many trials and errors,
Okay.
right? So one thing I could say is like I wouldn't really change anything,
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
right? Because
There's nothing wrong with
that's
that.
what made me the person I am now, and that's one thing everybody thinks. Oh, you have to be perfect to become this person. No, we fall forward, we learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like, I've learned by so much, downfalls. I have lost everything 3 times, right, and got it back because I'm just a natural hustler. That's in me.
For sure.
And when one thing is, every time I fall on my ass, when I get up, I learn from that mistake.
Boom.
And that's one thing I can say. It's like, why I'm not going to change anything, right? What I can honestly say I could change, it was really like, I could work much harder. But honestly, it's like I learned through every journey, So it's like I can't.
And there's nothing wrong for you to think back and say I wouldn't change a thing. That just gives you the assurance that you are doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
What he gained, what he lose is a learning experience, and
Exactly.
that's who he is now, right?
I'm good
Yeah,
with
that
it.
right.
Yes, definitely. So, what makes you best in your field? Like, why you? Like, why should I pick you for a business?
Well, honestly, for a lot of you guys, or for you guys that don't know me, I keep it real.
Yeah. I mean, some of the viewers may not know who you are. You say it how it is, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing about me. Everybody sees what I got on now. It's cool, right? But this is just an image. It's what's in here, right? And I was telling my brother, it's like, everybody can put a front and put a face on.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that people cannot fake is energy.
Oh, for sure.
I'm big on that.
That
Sure.
right there is like, you cannot change that whatsoever. So I'm a big believer in that. And like the people that are so in tune with themselves and they know it by energy, we start attracting with each other. And like, that's how, I start building some good relationships with the right people because of my energy. I keep it real.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right.
No, and I agree. I mean, we were just talking about it a little bit off air here. When you have that energy, you want to find somebody or the right person that shares that same amount of energy with you. Normally, if you're going to gravitate to that particular energy, you're going to gravitate to that person because we share that in common. There's no bigger comparison than energy, right?
Yeah.
So I completely agree with that for sure.
Yeah, like, it's crazy. Let me touch on that too, because it's like, all the people that I envision myself connecting with have came to life. Like, again, shout out to, Carlos and all in guys. I remember when I was broke and I was driving for dollars in my beat up car and listening to the podcast. I'm like, man, you know what? One day, I'm going to be sitting down next to them, right? And now it's like, man, we're so close. Like that's my brother. Like, those are my close people. We our family knows, their family. So it's like, that's the type of energy that attracts energy. It's like,
For sure.
you keep it real, you start visioning the people that you want to be with, it starts coming to life.
And to add to that, Carlos, I feel like a lot of it has to do with you envisioning that, right? Putting that in, like, one of these days I'm gonna be sitting next to these guys. One of these days I'm gonna be able to
manifestation, right?
You manifested
You manifested it.
Yeah, to where look at you now.
See, that's very important. So, getting back to it, it's like, when I was driving for dollars in my beat up car, right? I used to always, vision, and it's very important when you're visioning something, you have to like really see it, right? And believe in it and feel it. Like all that has to align. And that's what really helped me out, with everything I have now. It's like when I was driving my car, I used to always vision myself like driving that nice, Escalade, right, that I have now. Right, I remember, driving for dollars. Used to vision myself driving to my office that I have now. Right, all those things. It started with the vision, right, and it ended up manifesting itself.
It's
but
beautiful.
You have to be very clear with your intentions. That's very important. Right
so, Art, I'm curious to hear a little bit more about like the sacrifices that you've had to make to get to this point and to achieve these goals in such a short period of time.
Yeah, that's a good question. So. And this is very important, especially for the audience. It's like, when I talked about the faith, like that's very important right there. I took some huge risks. Remember when I said it's like, my wife was pregnant. I had to get a job or go hard in real estate, which I wasn't gonna go back to my job. So I told my wife, like, forget about that.
You're like that.
So I was like, you know what? There's only one way in. It's like working my ass off.
Yeah.
Right. So it took me about 4 months to get my first deal. But a lot of people don't know, I used to work 7 days a week, 10 hours a day. I used to work my ass off. And that's very important. It's like, your work will pay off and your results will show eventually. Right?
Yeah.
So
just take some time.
Do you remember that deal that you made in 4 months?
You know what's crazy? And it's crazy how universe works, right? The building that we're in right now is where I first got my deal. My first deal.
Our freaking office.
This building that we're in right now is where I got my first deal.
Elaborate on that.
Yeah.
How did they get to be?
So then it's crazy how the universe works. And that's one thing is like, for the audience, it's like, let my story be an example for you guys. It's like anything's possible. You work your ass off and you have a clear vision on what you want. All this is possible. Look at where I'm at. Right? So, again, let me tell you guys that story, right? So I remember about 2 years ago, we were actually renting, a spot next to, another company. We're renting it from them, basically, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the CEO didn't know that we're renting from them, right? And neither the property management knew that we're renting that area. It was a small little area. And I remember our, property management came in one day and saw us. They're like, what are you guys doing here? We explained to them. They're like, you know what? I don't want to hear it. I need you guys out.
Wow.
So we had to get our things out. Yeah. So, but again, going back to that deal, I remember I was up there. It's on the second floor. And I remember that feeling because the pressure was on. Remember, my wife was pregnant. And she had told me, she was like, if you don't get a deal, within the month or so, you're going to get a job.
Yeah.
You're going to get a job. Right? So I was like, I was going in, the pressure was on. Like,
Yeah.
you don't should, like,
You're like, I have to get it.
Stressing
And that's
out.
One thing is your boss telling you that your wife, brother. I'm a married man. I know if ain't happy wife, ain't happy life.
you got that right.
Am I right though?
You got that right, my man. You got that right.
Shout out to the wife, by the way. She's actually in the building, guys.
Yeah.
Shout out to her, because if it wasn't for her, none of this would have happened. She really held it down when I didn't have anything, right? She used to pay for my dialer, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's what I'm telling you, like, man, like, look at my wife, like, her Chanel bag, that Range Rover that she's driving, that big ring that's in her right? She deserved all that because of she held it down, and that's what a real woman is, right? And some of us guys don't acknowledge that. Yeah, I mean, but one thing is, like, we had our ups and downs. I mean, that's how a relationship is, but it's just as long as they're still here with you, man. Hey, take them for the ride.
So what would you say is like the two big sacrifices that you've had to make to get to the success that you are at?
Well, I lost a lot of relationships.
Did
I lost
you?
family and friends.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of, like a lot of opportunities where, I could have made more money on the side or whatnot. But you know what? I believed in the vision.
Yeah.
I knew where I wanted to be at.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I had tunnel vision.
Right.
Everything else did not matter. Right? It was like what I'm focusing on is this what I have now.
Right.
So I had to really sacrifice a lot of things, in order to get at this position. I had to start from the bottom. I had to start cold calling. So a guy that that used to make decent money, right, and then lost it all, and they had to go in and start cold calling and whatnot. I had to start from the bottom. That right there made me feel some type of way. I'm like, man, like, my ego like dropped tremendously.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know what? One thing is, it's like everybody wants to be on top, but nobody's willing to take the damn, stairs, right? That's very important right there, right? Everybody wants to go and just take the elevator all the way straight up.
Yeah.
But you know what? I started from the bottom and I learned every step, because you know why? If I fell on my ass, I knew exactly where to go next, right?
Right.
I didn't take the damn elevator. I
How
took the
to get
steps. Yep. I took the steps. So I took the hard way out. So, but look at where I'm at now.
Exactly. Wow. Art, quick question, man. And I want to know the word, and I want to know the why behind why you believe that word is you. In 3 words, how would you describe yourself? In 3 words, and why?
Man, I'm just a Mexican hustler / CEO.
Hey, there you go. You heard it. You heard it first.
Mexican for obvious reasons,
Hey,
hustler for another obvious reason, and CEO because you're the boss.
that's right. One thing is I want to touch on this. It's like,
Sure.
you know what? Being a CEO is a tough position, right? And especially having the people that were with you since day one, like that takes a lot. Like, my closest people that were with me, like when I didn't have nothing, that work with me now, that's a real CEO. That's a boss right there.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people forget about that. They forget about the roots. And I have my my uncle in the building, right? He's came a long way with me too, through my ups and downs, right? My father-in-law, he's in here too. Man, I remember that guy used, my water should be shut off, and that guy used to go ahead and brought me some money to pay the damn water. That's what keeping it real is all about.
Yeah. That's
Right.
loyalty.
And
So
that's what family is for, right?
I'm telling you now, one thing is, shout out to Ramon, because I remember, like, I was trying to, get some deals, make some money, and take my family, on the ride, the journey. And I seen him, like, take his family out, on some crazy trips, right? I'm like, man, like, that's gonna be me. That's gonna be me one day, right? And sure enough, man, like, we just came from Cancun, me and the wife. Last week, we just came back from Disney World. We took the whole family.
That's
I love to
awesome.
hear it.
That's what it's all about, guys. It's like, especially us, like, we came from nothing, and now it's like seeing, like, man, the whole family's with me. That's the joy that I have. That's what recharges me, guys. Like,
For sure.
that's, a lot of people, it's like, oh, what recharges you? What keeps you up? What keeps you energized? Your day ones next to you, and creating memories, right?
Yes.
That's what
Art,
it's all about.
speaking of creating memories and crazy trips, man. So our CEO let us in a little secret that you guys made a crazy little trip over to was it LA to a Scientology convention. What was that
What
about?
was that about?
Yeah,
Wait,
man.
what is that really a cult deal? What the hell is that, bro?
Tell us about it, because there's some of us that we don't know about it, and there's some of us that we do. So
I mean, my mind about Scientology is like, like it ain't good. So what?
Yeah,
To be honest, I have no
yeah.
idea what it is.
I still don't know what it is, but one thing I can tell you from my experience,
You had a great time.
I had a great time. These guys, they're adventurous. Like, you guys,
Oh, I know.
I'm like,
We took
these guys will tell you, hey, you can be chilling one day, and the next time it's like, hey, we're up and we're out. Let's go here,
yeah.
right? Remember, we're at this event, and these guys were like, hey, there's a Scientologist, chap. I don't know what it was. It was a building, right across. They're like, hey, let's go check it out. I'm Christian. Like, my faith is in God. And this guy's like, no, like, there's more to it. Just come on. So we went.
Open to it.
Me, Ramon. Yeah. And we all 3 of us went, and it's crazy. We had like a crazy experience because, we found out a lot of like what the mind body could do, You know, and I forgot the guy's name.
So how was it? Like you walk in, do they greet you with like a bow? Like what is it like?
No, it's like a tour. Like you go in and then like you know it's I forgot the guy's name. All right, and excuse me for it, but I forgot the guy's name. But it was telling his story, like you know how all the things that he's done in his lifetime, where not even one person could you know do at least one thing. But this guy did tons of you know other things. You know. He was like in Vietnam. He fought in some crazy wars. Like he was trapped in the middle of the jungle. Like man, some crazy stuff.
Yes. What the hell?
But one thing is he studies so much people, and they end up seeing like you know, it's especially when it comes out to religion, it's all in one, right? And then how everybody operates and whatnot. So he starts really like you know studying them, and that's what. You know, that's what it's all about. It's like you start studying the body, the mind.
So did it give you like different perspective? Like, did it actually open up your mind to different like possibilities or like thoughts?
It did. It honestly did. I mean, these guys like they loved it. I was just with them. You know, that's not that. Yeah, I was just part of it. But again, it was like again about a year or so ago. It wasn't too long ago, but. I mean, it was a good experience, all right? It was in Hollywood, so the people that want to do the research and go check it out, this is on Hollywood. And I guess there's one here as well. You know,
oh, never heard of it. We're going to take them on a trip, field trip.
I mean, listen, don't just go along with the trip. Like, just listen, don't.
Close your mind
don't have a closed mind to it. Like, just go with the flow. Just go with it.
So we heard some of the sacrifices you've done, some of the accomplishments, some of the things that you experienced through life and this past 2 years, how it has been like a roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
But something that you can think of or a highlight of an accomplishment that just recently happened that you would like to share with us?
There's a lot of accomplishments. That's a great question, by the way. There's a lot of accomplishments. Like honestly, it's like going back to traveling with my whole family.
That's amazing, honestly.
You know, like you know, we took the whole family to Disney World, and you know, and
that can be expensive, you guys. If you guys been to Disneyland or Disney World, that's expensive.
Absolutely, but there's more to that. Like I took him, you know, my whole family to Cancun as well. But I say, you know, the biggest accomplishments is really like, you know, my wife coming into the business and going with me. Retiring my mom, that was a big thing.
Honestly, that's huge.
Amazing.
That's awesome. Congratulations for that.
Thank you so much.
That's amazing.
And going back to, it's like, don't forget about the people that are with you at the beginning stages, right? And it's crazy because, listen, I remember my mom when I first started this, I told her about it, but she was like, and she was like, I'll see when I believe it. But then she was like, you know, get a job, like, you know.
Right.
Again, it's like,
keep dreaming.
Yeah, like. You know, I used to always tell her, like, hey, I want to become somebody. And she believed in it, right? But, you know, I was in the streets doing, doing such and such. But, again, I knew I wanted to be somebody in life. And that's how I always told everybody around me, I'm going to be somebody in life. I don't know when, how. I didn't know when.
But I am then.
I'm going to be somebody. And that's one thing. It's like, you know. And now it's like, look, Mom, I remember, it's crazy because I remember, you know, I got my first check and my mom, you know, I told my mom, come over here. It was at this building. And she came up and I told her, give her like, hey, look. I threw in her face pretty much like, look, Mom, look, this is real, right? And, we ended up taking her out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hold the check. It's real paper.
Right.
It's real money when it's
Exactly.
Sure.
So, yeah, that's very important right there. It's like, yeah, that was one of the biggest accomplishments I had done is, retire my mom, right? And I've done so much for the family, honestly. That's what it's all about. And honestly, that's the reason why God keeps blessing me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I live in abundance. And that's why, you know what, like, Ramon, going back to Ramon, it's like, the guy's the same way too. He wants to make sure everybody wins too. Everybody eats. Right? Everybody eats. That's what a boss is all about.
Yes. I agree.
Right?
Art, so a lot of the viewers that are watching and reach out to us on the social media are brand new in the industry, or they're curious about getting more information. What is some advice that you would give to some of the newer viewers that are wanting to get into wholesaling? They just stumble upon it.
See, I love these questions. I love this question.
Yeah.
All right, look at this is for the audience, all right? The people that are viewing this, all right? This is very important, all right? I'm a guy that came from nothing, right? But the only thing I had was faith and had ambition, right? And one thing is, it's like everybody wants to like learn all this stuff before they do it. That was me. I was like, you know what? I didn't know what go wrong was. I just picked up, got a list, picked up the, got a dialer and started dialing.
Yeah.
Right? I started falling forward. And that's one thing that I want you guys to understand is like, you don't have to do it. You don't have to know it all. Just start doing it, learn as you go. But one thing is, I want you guys to understand this, right? This is part of my success, right? Is you guys need to surround yourself with like-minded people, all right? There's always going to be levels to everything that, that you want to become. There's always going to be levels, all right? Surround yourself with those type of people, all right? All right, so that's what happened with me. I was at a level where it's like, these guys, taught me, how to start wholesaling, all right? I learned, I grew, and then it's like, what else can I do, right? I wanted to start scaling. I contacted Ramon. This guy opened the doors. Shout out to my boy Ramon. Real recognizes real, guys.
For real.
This guy opened the doors. Like he's the one that really showed me. It's like, you know what? Like, this is how a business structure is ran, right? And this guy, like, he taught me a lot of good things. And then from there, it's like, all right. Then I brought in the people with me, right? My mother-in-law, she started working with me. And from there, it's like, all right, then I really want to go ahead and take this to a different level. Pay for a mentor.
Okay.
And then that's how you start going, guys. It's like, just be with the right people. And the guys, it's not the West, so who, right? Who has the answers for this, right? And that's one thing is like, you gotta pay to play. Right. So one thing is like, once you start making money, all right, you want to be around like-minded people. You have to pay for it.
Invest on yourself.
The biggest investment, listen, guys, the biggest investment that you could ever make, it's not what's right here, right? It's within yourself.
Right.
In yourself. Last year, let me touch on this, guys. Last year, I paid over $120,000 in self-development.
Wow.
Self-development, right? And a lot of people don't understand. It's like, man, why should I waste so much
You're
money?
building a super art there, bro.
I'm telling you, I'm a guy that didn't graduate high school, right? That grew up with, a single mom, that grew up in Maryville, right? Like, I was that person. And the person I became now, everybody sees me now, it's like, oh, who's this guy? Like, this guy's new. Like, you changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I left you guys behind.
Like, that's what you're supposed to
change.
do. Yeah.
Something remarkable from last year, you said you paid all this amount of money, but something that like is stuck with you from what you learned, and that's self-development. Because I know there's a lot of things. It could be from family, it could be from career, it could be just within your spirit. You have a lot of faith. So something that got stuck with you, what is it?
It's, we all have past trauma and we all have layers.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
And if people want to change, right away, it's just, it takes time. And I, my coach Tanya, shout out to her again. She showed me how to like, take out these layers and find, the inner self in me, like,
Your core.
Yes, yes, the inner me. So that right there is like, she broke everything down, like reprogramming. That's very important too. Like, I reprogram my mind. It's like how how I grew up with a single mom, how she raised us, end up working. After I started seeing this, it's like I was doing it with my own kids too, right? Just how my mom was treating us, I was treating my kids.
It's like a pattern.
It's all a pattern. Mm-hmm. So really with all that work that's been done, it's like now it's like I'm trying to become the best father as I ever been. Yeah. With my kids, a better husband for my wife, a better leader, a better businessman.
For sure.
It's just, again, you have to invest in yourself. So people need to look out for the new Art, the 2.0, because listen, I keep changing everything about me, and I'm going to keep changing it.
Well, you're elevating.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
It's a work in progress.
That's all it is.
So Art, obviously you're a very talented individual. Obviously you have many talents, being a boss, being one of the biggest ones. Let me ask you this, man, completely unrelated to real estate. Do you have any hidden talents that you could share with us?
Break the ice.
Not to put you on the spot, but putting you on the spot.
My wife's looking at me. She's over with the hand gestures.
She's like, what do you
She's like,
say?
oh, he's a good cook. He's a very, very great cook.
That's cool.
Is he?
Is he?
Yeah.
I love to cook.
There you go.
Right?
Favorite meal to cook?
There's a lot of Mexican food, obviously,
Whoa.
right?
Whip it up.
I like to grill too. I like to grill.
Okay.
But anything?
But other than that, like hidden talents, I don't know.
Well, I mean, being a good cook is a talent.
That's a
There's a lot of people that shows.
I've been burning good girls left and right. So yeah, she has a talent.
Yeah.
So what's
It's
your
funny.
wife's favorite dish that you make?
She likes it all. What's a good? I mean, that's a question you gotta ask her. Because I cook. You know,
What's
a
your
lot of
favorite
foods.
meal?
His salmon, and then he makes a special sauce with the
Oh,
salmon.
okay, she likes the salmon. Okay. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Salmon?
Yep.
We're not going to share the recipe. Everybody got
That's
excited.
disclosed.
We'll put the details down below.
You guys might have to listen, through the whole interview, and then, I'll give you the gems later.
I have to make it for us.
I know.
Yeah.
Right?
But again, I really don't have talents. I mean, what you see is what you get.
Boom. There you go. This is real as a guest for sure.
Yep.
Ladies, any so it seems like less as much time as we have today. Ladies,
Yes.
any closing comments? Anything you guys want to add?
All right, I just want to say that thank you so much for coming in. Your story is definitely inspirational for those that started from nothing and with hustle and grind and some ambition, you can really make it happen.
I appreciate
So
you.
appreciate you coming in.
And just to mention that he continue sharing that success with others and that advice and just keeping it real with everyone. And thank you for being here.
Art, anything else that you want to go ahead and add as a closing statement, brother, to our audience?
Listen, guys, like, I was saying is have a goal, right? And have a vision of where you want to become, all right? And then just start putting in the work.
Yeah.
All this will come eventually, right? Start trying to have instant gratification right away. It's a process. If you guys are feeling down right now, it's because God has a bigger plan for every single one of you guys. You guys might not know it now, but you guys will find out, you know what? This was meant, right? How many times I fell on my ass and got back up, and then that question God, like, why did this happen to me?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, it's easy to question, right?
Yes, there's always, but one thing is, it's like there's always a story behind it. There's always like, you might not have answers right there, but eventually once you're up, like, there's a reason why that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm telling you guys. You guys are going through it right now. It's fine. Do not rush the process. Right? It's all God's timing. Remember this. You're already there. Just time has not caught up yet. That's all it is,
Ooh,
guys.
I love that.
That's fire. How can the people, our viewers, reach you?
Yeah, guys. So you guys can reach me on Instagram, CEO Art, and Facebook, Art Sanches. Right? But again, guys, if you guys have any questions or you guys, just want to ask me a personal question, whatever, all right, DM me. All right, guys? Because I've been in your shoes. I know how it feels. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, for everybody watching at home, guys, we put these, that's all the time that we have today, but we put these videos together, guys, to inspire our community, to show some value. If you found some value within this podcast, within anything that Art had to say, all we ask is that you give us the opportunity to work with you. We don't ask to be exclusive in any sort of way. All we ask is for you to go ahead and give us the opportunity to work with you. That's all the time that we have for today, guys. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Stay
Thanks,
tuned.
guys.
Woo!